And there you go.
Welcome, everyone, to the Lord of Rigel Development Team's developer session here. We've seemed to have a lot of people today. It looks like we've got 11 viewers, which is great. Welcome, everyone, to the Lord of Rigel Development Team's developer session here. We've seemed to have a lot of...
Lol, I had a stream open in the background. Yeah, go on, please.
Oh, there we go. So, for those who are interested in getting more information about Lord of Rigel, we do have a website. We have a basic forum right now. It's lordofrigel.com/forum. And we also have a Facebook page where you can kind of get some basic information. We have post stuff on models. I think this week we're going to show off some of our models for the human fleet, but currently we have the Catraxi fleet, which is one of our cat-like alien species up, and that link is facebook.com/Lord of Rigel, and we'll post that here in the text label.
Yeah, I'll do it now, I guess.
So, okay. .com/Lord of Rigel, and we'll post it here in the text label. We have Tuxinet, who's our lead developer, and myself. My name is Accurus, and I'm the co-founder of Rhombus Studios, and we're kind of the brainchild behind this game. We're going to be working on our Galaxy generator. We've made a lot of progress on it. Today, we're mainly going to focus on kind of fine-tuning stuff. Tuxinet's done some great work on getting a nebula system pretty much working. So we're going to go through today and just get some more fine-tuning done. This will be part of the demo that we'll be releasing probably sometime in late November, early December, but more likely late November, as part of our Kickstarter campaign. This will be kind of half of the demo to show you kind of what the galaxy map will look like. The second half of the demo will be a tactical combat demo, and that will set up just random systems for you to play in. We'll have two playable fleets. We're going to have the human fleet and the Catraxi fleet. The humans in this universe are kind of a sleek diplomatic species, and the Catraxi are they're kind of like Klingons, I think would be the best way to put them. And if you've ever played any of the Master of Orion series, they're very similar to the Mershan. We chose these two species because they are very different in terms of design. And we are really wanting to show off kind of the different art directions that our team can have. So the humans are going to be a very symmetrical design, very sleek, soft-looking ships. The Catraxi are going to be asymmetrical, and lots of points, lots of spikes on them. In fact, you can see them on our Facebook page. You can kind of see just how aggressive their ships are. And hopefully next week, too, we'll also have a battleship to show you. Our modeler is currently just finishing up some UV mapping and getting that texture put on the model, but the model is complete. Anyway, I'm going to let Tuxinet take it from here. If you have any questions, we'll kind of answer them through the chat here as we go.
Indeed. So, yeah, that's basically the short version of what the game is about, and most importantly, the playable demo we're going to release. So I guess I'm going to just start off with showing you guys what we currently have. And that is a working like galaxy generator, as we like to call it, or the galaxy view. So if we we have a nice menu made by members of the team, Woo Legends, and some other people. And here you have like the interface for the generator. And, you can choose stuff like the size of the galaxy, which is basically, if I remember correctly, like from 4 stars to like over 1,000. So, it's going to be a pretty big galaxy. And right now we have clustered and spiral galaxies. So, let me just generate the galaxy here. And we don't have any like pretty visual effects in just yet. We have the basic stars and general nebulas spawn around the galaxy. The nice thing about the galaxy generator, which we added like about a week and a half ago, is the system view. And basically that is, you can go to any star system in the galaxy. Everyone has a, like, not everyone has necessarily planets and such, but the upper hand of them, or like most of the stars, have some kind of planet or asteroid field. So if I just go to this red one, you see here we have the system view. And yeah, basically this is a pretty small one with 2 planets and 2 asteroid rings. The biggest we can have is about 10 orbits. So, you know, it can be any combination, I guess, with many different types of planets, asteroid rings, different sizes of planets. You know, it's a lot of content. And the galaxy size I chose now to showcase is the biggest one, like 1,024 stars. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, I guess if you want to generate a system or like a galaxy this big, you really want to play for a long time. Because, you know, then how long will it take to like finish a round, I guess?
You know, it's going to really depend on the player. You know, one of the things that we're really looking for in Lord of Rigel at this point is, you know, for those of you who have played Master of Orion 2, those are kind of what we're shooting to recreate and then obviously enhance since Master of Orion 2 was released in 1996. Is, you know, the player can choose things with having more star systems. They can choose to just have a longer game if they want to play more aggressive. They can choose to isolate themselves inside of a larger galaxy. We're going to have 12 races. So in a galaxy like this, you can have 12 races. And as well, we've chosen to scale the number of players in regards to the galaxy size. So a player that's going to play in a huge galaxy like this is going to have probably a prolonged game. You know, it's going to depend on each player, how they want to play out. Obviously, a game that you would win with a diplomatic victory or with a science-based victory would take probably longer. But you know, really, you know, hopefully in a galaxy this big, you know, you're looking at a game that's going to maybe last you a couple weeks, something like that, of on and off play, not continuous. But at the same time, you know, players can also play in a smaller map, which I believe is only 32 stars. You can just get a quick game in, you can get kind of the feel for it. So we're just trying to add scalability, and especially sometimes too in the late game, especially in Master of Orion with the galaxy being so small. Once you kind of got into a stable position with your empire and your fleets, etc., you were quickly able to expand out and take over the galaxy very quickly. Where we're hoping with having the option for a larger galaxy, that will take you more time, because obviously the player or the AI is going to have larger empires as well that you're going to have to conquer, and that you'll get kind of more fulfillment in doing so.
Yep.
And actually, Cube, that's actually one of the things that we'll be working on today, is actually making sure that our numbers for how we're generating our big spiral do a better distribution of stars.
Right now it's not correct.
We can show you.
Yeah, good, I think.
Oh, go ahead, Tuxnet. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, it's just that we had it at a stage where, if you ask me, it looked awesome. I prefer like 2-armed spirals because I think they look the best. But right now we basically have like 6 arms and they're spinning around like crazy. So, yep.
So we're gonna try today to work on that through the live stream and see if we can get the larger armed galaxies. I think I believe it's 6 arms for our legendary size galaxy. Try to get those so that the star distribution is spread out more evenly and gives it kind of a better shape than it has right now.
Oh, microtransactions. No, thank you, Philip. Okay, I'm just cloning a fresh version of the project. I'm gonna be finished in like 2 minutes. So.
Yeah, no microtransactions. So when the game is released, it will be a full-fledged game. And we'll be looking at, there is some stuff, especially in terms of what we want to add. We've at this point pretty much feature locked the game, so we're going to keep things where they're at. But there are some things, some stretch goals that we have. And I think at this point, we're going to take those stretch goals and just make them either an expansion pack, or we're going to make them into downloadable content, smaller things. So it's going to just depend when we get to the late phase of the game and we really see how many more ideas we have between now and then, whether we think it's going to be a full-fledged expansion or if we need to split things up more. But ideally, some of the things that you would be seeing in either an expansion or downloadable content would be something like each species having unique fleets, which they have now, or we plan on having that in the full game. But they'll have them for each era. So in this game, you can start out at a very basic era where your species has just gained faster than light travel, and then you can start in a mode where you kind of have like a pre-established empire, maybe 4, 5, 6 star systems. And so one of the things that we'd like to do is try to have unique fleets for each of those. But I believe we have 10 classes of ships per species, so you start multiplying that out over 12, and that's just a lot of art assets, and it's just going to add more time. So to us, it's a feature we'd like to have, but it's nothing that should stop us from releasing the initial game. So that's kind of some stuff. There's also the idea of adding some more species to it, and we might be able to do that later. Because this game will be very art intensive, because we want to have each species be unique, and that includes not just ships but talking heads, because when you're in diplomacy, we wanted to have a 3D talking head for each, and as well looking at right now we're just gonna have one set of planetary buildings. So whether you play the Catraxi or the Tulok or the humans, you're just going to see the same set of species buildings. It's just one big thing. But we'd like to later on, as either an expansion or DLC, look at having some sort of unique one for each species. But again, I don't want to push our release back for something like that. It's a really cool feature, but I'd rather have everyone enjoy the product so that we can get more, obviously as people are buying the game, that's more money that we can put towards expanding our team, expanding our resources, and providing everyone with a better game. Looks like we have a question here about black holes and supernovas. There are black holes in the game. They're kind of hard to see in our galaxy generator, or in our galaxy view. Yes, so there are black holes. So at the moment, what we have is black holes are essentially you can shoot them, or not shoot them. Sorry, I was thinking about your later comment there. But black holes essentially are placed there, and obviously ships can't travel through them, so they're kind of like more of an obstruction right now. But in late game, our two elder species do have technology that allows stars to be harnessed and also to be destroyed. So star systems can be destroyed later. And so it probably won't be an amazing effect in terms of art. It'll probably be more like you have the ability to go into a star system. You have a super weapon on your ship that can destroy the star. There may be a little cutscene that shows, your weapon destroying the star. But there's not going to be any massive explosions or effects or anything like that within the galaxy map. Maybe we can put like something like a pulsar in there or something like that. But we're just trying to keep things very simple. We think that's where a lot of 4X games have gone kind of awry and have lost their way from Master of Orion, is that they've gotten too complex. It's difficult for players to get into them. And as well, a lot of games have great ideas that work on paper, but when you actually play them, it just gets very cumbersome. And I think you'll see, and I think you've kind of already seen us touching it, showed you kind of our interface. It's very simple, but it's very effective. You'll have everything that you can do in Master of Orion 2 and then some. But it's not going to feel like this big cumbersome thing where the player doesn't understand what's going on around them, or why one turn something is working and you're making money, and the next turn all of a sudden you're not making money, and that's unclear to the player, and that can be very frustrating. So we're really working to minimize, just get back to the core basics of what made Master of Orion 2 great, and then take some of the things that obviously game companies have integrated over the years, like the Civilization series, where you have better diplomacy, better spying, because that was kind of a weak point in Master of Orion 2, was that spying was essentially a way for you to play defensive. Sometimes you could get technology, but it wasn't great, and so it in this game, what we've tried to do is say, okay, well, let's make something more useful. Spying now is going to be more active. So let's say you're the humans and the Catraxi have an extremely aggressive leader that's threatening war against you. What if you could use your spies to plot an assassination of that person? So you dedicate spies to that, and that's going to increase your probability of killing that person. And if you were able to have that go successfully, they won't be any of the wiser, and now and hopefully they'll install a new leader that's going to be more passive potentially, and that will help you. The other question here is random disasters messing up. Random disasters, yeah. So there will be random events, but they're not going to be anything that is going to be, I want to say, detrimental, because there are going to be negative events, but it's not going to be something like, for instance, some people try to make games real. So real to the point that it's not fun. For instance, stars can go supernova sometimes. Or, some huge stellar event occurs and just knocks out your whole, star system. We're not trying to do that. Master of Orion 2 did have random events where it was almost kind of a challenge to a player. So sometimes suns could go nova. And so you had to focus those planets on researching, and if you produced enough research points, it would take it away. So there will be things that'll be both positive and negative. Sometimes the random event could be that your species discovered additional ore veins on worlds, increasing the mining capacity of that world, and that's a benefit to you. But again, too, the random events will be random, and in particular, they will be low in frequency. So it's not something where you have events going on as you're trying to play out your strategy. You have all these things going on that you're trying to interact with, both positive and negative. We're not going to do that. You might see a random event once every 30 turns or 40 turns. And it may not even affect you at all. It may affect just another species. It may be that another species found better minerals on one of their worlds, or perhaps they overmined one of their worlds, and now that mineral, maybe it's gone from a rich planet to just an abundant planet in minerals. So it'll be things like that, so the player can really focus on their strategy and how they're going to interact with the galaxy. Because unlike a lot of 4X games that really focus on the exterminate part of the 4X genre, we're wanting players to have the choice that if you want to exterminate, that's your choice. If you want to research, you can do that. If you want to just explore, you can do that too. And there will be endgame scenarios that will reward players for doing that, because it is difficult when you're playing a 4X game and especially I can only imagine Lord of Rigel when it's complete and you have 11 other players in the game besides yourself. You have a huge galaxy. If you choose to want to do research, that will be a fine line of using good diplomacy and having some sort of a defensive military. Um, so we want to reward players for that, not just say, well, research is only good because it gives you better guns so you can kill everyone else with them. That's not really a research victory. So we'll be working on that. And that's something that once we release our initial demo and we start working on the other systems like the economic system in the game and start tying those things together, we will be extensively beta testing and bringing in more community support to help us test, get your guys' feedback, and see where we need to go with that.
That was a good answer, I think.
Yeah, I think that's good. Probably a lot of talking, but it's going to be a great project. I mean, we're in the very early stages, but honestly, you guys are going to be, I think, really blown away by how close this is to Master of Orion 2. I mean, that's why this game was made. I don't play a ton of 4X space strategy games anymore because I don't personally care for them. This game is kind of my response to modern 4X games, and it's also our co-founder, Ace. It's his response as well, which is just really we need to get back to the basics. It should be great. Tuxin, are you built? Are we having a couple GUI issues here?
No, I'm trying to fix the argument out of range exception thing. That's fun.
If there's any other questions anyone has, this would be a good time while we're trying to get everything going here. Yeah, thank you. We appreciate it. And we'll definitely, since we have a guy who works for us kind of on the side, everything right now is volunteer. We don't have a ton of cash. We truly are an indie studio. We're not a Chris Roberts, indie game where we have $20-30 million and all these backers, So people like Tuxinet, another one of our developers that streams is VU Legends. These guys are doing this out of just their excitement for the project, their own personal growth, and just wanting to develop their skills, and just generosity because they're not being paid yet for this. But our website developer is the same way, and so he's had some real life stuff kind of block his time up. But we're hoping next week that I'll have a template for a site given to me, and then I can start to get that online. But we have everything ready to go for it, and we'll kind of have a better hub for those of you interested in learning more about the game and to talk about the game and to give us feedback about the game to go to. Right now, we just have a very basic forum, which is lordofrigel.com/forum that you can register on and just give us some basic feedback. It looks dead probably from an outsider's perspective because we do have a private developer section, but we are quite active, and we'd love to have you guys on the forum giving us feedback or some of your ideas. This is definitely true. Did you watch? Larry Coon, you must have watched VU Legends stream because I think he just played that yesterday morning during a team meeting, and we were. That guy is great. I forget what his name is, but that is a pretty amazing video.
Oh yeah, yeah. He was playing all sort of stuff yesterday.
He was streaming that yesterday.
Lol.
Yeah, Vu is quite a character, but he is an awesome coder.
Indeed. I don't know why we're getting this error, to be honest. Well, at least it's spawning the nebula, so that's cool.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be, even on the copy I have, it spawns. It just gives that exception error on my end.
Yeah. It's probably something simple. I'm just blind.
That's usually how coding works. It's always something simple.
Yeah.
It's just until you see it, it's difficult to see.
Mm-hmm. So, did you want to tweak the spiral variables?
Yeah, I think spiral is the one that we want to look at. I'm pretty sure, cluster looks great. I think we're really good there. I think we want to. Oh, doesn't like that. That's interesting. I just try. Oh, there it goes. So yeah, from system view, you can't get back into the main menu using the main menu button, but you can from Galaxy view though.
Yeah, I think Vue Legends did that on purpose. I think I talked
Oh,
to him
did he?
about
Okay.
that. Yeah, I'll get him
All
link,
right.
or I
So
could link it up, but I don't want to touch his UI stuff.
yeah. Oh yeah. I don't blame you.
Okay.
So let's see here. So Tuxedo, let's just go ahead and pick a galaxy size. That's a spiral. We'll start with that first.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to? You just want to start with like legendary? Start with the biggest one.
Yeah, let's do legendary. Yeah.
And I'll go on my end. And let's just make sure. I assume our seeds are the same, right? They're SDD,
If you start
GDFS.
from the main menu, it should be, yeah, SGT blah blah blah.
Okay, perfect. And it's another feature that we have in our game too is that if you and a friend want to play the same galaxy, we have a seed code that you can adjust so that our quote unquote random generator though is based on a seed, so you can adjust all those things and play in the same galaxy.
Think about Minecraft. It's the same concept.
Yes. Oh no!
Crash.
It's just there we go. Jeez, I don't know. Really. Oh, it keeps pausing too. That doesn't help. Yeah. That's a problem. Is it? Oh, there it goes. I just think things just being very touchy today. I don't know why.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I know exactly why. It's because we're streaming live with most people who've ever had watching our stream days. So thank you guys for the good luck. We appreciate that.
By the way, I love the subtle 3D effect of the nebulas.
Yes, yeah, because they are 3D objects in and of themselves. Yeah.
Yep.
Which presents so many problems when Ace and I try to figure out what we want to do for the using when you move around the dust and the star effect. Mm-hmm. So let's just let you guys know too. Right now, as you see Tuxedo kind of sliding around the screen there, that made a very different one than it made for ours.
Or I went into Spiral and changed some stuff.
Okay. But what was I gonna say? Ha 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 ha. Oh, yeah. So right now you're looking at a very basic, and it's hard to see on the stream even if you go into system view. But as you're moving around, there will be a shader that provides like a gas, kind of like a stardust effect, and as well as some basic star movement as you're moving around. At this point, our main focus on this hasn't been the bells and the whistles. It's just getting the shape of the galaxy that we're looking for.
Yeah, the basic fundamentals.
Yeah, and then we'll of course make it all pretty and polished for you guys.
I think the main thing, like for me, it's the spin speed in the spiral galaxy we have now. Like, just for me, it seems way too swirly. Like it spins too fast.
Yeah, let's see real quick what you have on your. I need to quit messing with mine because mine's just like pausing constantly. It's so weird. I think part of it is because it's the air that it's given, I think, and then it's trying to like compensate for that. Like freezes up on
yeah
their stuff.
I think we're gonna need to like put some of these generator variables in some kind of JSON table because we can't have one uniform setting for them all, I think.
Okay, that's no problem. You know me, I love writing JSON tables.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's another thing too. And we're doing the JSON tables. Not obviously in this scenario, it kind of works out for us to have different galaxy sizes. But one of the things that we're trying to do with the JSON tables and just the overall design of the game is trying to make it very moddable for you all, so that if you are wanting to make adjustments to the game, add your own planet names, adjust stuff however you want to do it, you'll have a nice simple JSON table to make those kind of adjustments with. So the way this Galaxy Gen works is it pretty much Tuxenet has his magical code, but it reads off of a bunch of JSON tables, which gives him probability and odds of things occurring. And so once the game's released, you guys should be able to go through, adjust those variables, and make them however you want them to be to make it work for you. Will there be some kind of fog of war? There's not going to be a fog of war, I guess, in the sense of most RTS games. So you're not going to have like Tuxenet here has this barred galaxy going. It's not going to be like, oh, I can't see the top half of it. You'll see the stars, but you won't see the names. You won't see who possesses them. And that's the way Master of Orion handled them, and I think that's a pretty good way to handle it. If you're a species that can travel faster than light, chances are you probably at least can see the stars, in your own galaxy. It's just you probably don't know who controls them or what's there. You can just see the stars shining. So that's kind of the look we've gone for too, is that it's not so much a fog of war as it is just a lack of knowledge. You know the star exists, but you don't know what it is. We will not have there are trading fleets that will help your economy, but it'll kind of be stuck to that. This game is about the broad strokes. So PvP for us, the things that you do, whether it's ships or you're looking at merchants moving around, they're to help you with the broad strokes of controlling an empire. So there won't be anything like that. What merchants will do in this game is they'll provide you an economic boost. But one of the things that we really liked in Civ 5 expansions was culture. And that seemed to provide a really different way to win a game and get cultural victories. So something we're going to be working on is adding culture to the game and using merchants and their trading of resources as a way for you to influence other species, and you can gain a victory through that as well. So that's kind of more of the way we want to use species or not species, but merchants or any sort of interaction with ships. It's all more or less the broad strokes kind of stuff.
I'm just messing around with different numbers, I guess.
I was looking at the the legendary size spiral, and I'm thinking, is there a way that we can get the core to be larger? So, like there's a core where all the arms link.
Yep.
But I'm wondering if we can make that bigger and then spread that, but add more spacing between the stars so that the stars extend further out into the arms towards their tip.
So you want so you want stars in the middle and out arms, of course. But
yeah.
How did you want the distribution? You wanted a bigger core?
I want a bigger core, but I don't want it to be bigger because we're packing more stars into it. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I don't want there to be... Yeah, so, it seems like a lot of, with the current numbers that we have, a lot of what's happening is that stars are getting packed into that center core, and that's fully loaded. Mm-hmm. And then as you get out to the arms, it's running out of stars to fill the arms with. What I want to do is, I want to have the arms make a shape in the middle that's a larger circle, but spread the distribution so that it's more sparse in the middle, so that we have more stars that are getting pushed out into those outer arms.
Yeah, I guess I can do that, yeah.
That's an interesting combination you have there as well.
Yeah, basically a high random threshold.
Gotcha.
And some stuff like that. Doesn't really look like spirals per se, but oh well. Kind of, I guess. Yeah, there is way too many stars in the middle.
Yeah, because you can tell with how patterned it is that the game is just shooting out the the dots in a sequence because it's the only sequence that it meets the objectives of having them not overlap and stuff like that.
Yep. I guess we could do like a there's so many different ways. I'll do some magic, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's what you're good at. Oh, by the way, and who was that earlier? I think it was Cube about the Facebook categorization. It was Cube. You're a very smart man. I did find it, but it's under someplace different than what I was looking at. So the change has been made, and I appreciate it. That's much better. But yeah, when I was looking at how to make a Facebook page for this, so many other games I was looking at, even games like BioShock, were listed as under games toys and games or something like that. And some of the other great indie games out there, like Star Trek Excalibur, were the exact same way. But yeah, perfect. The change has been made, and I really appreciate that information.
Like we could do like we'll define the core as like X amount of Unity units from the
Perfect.
middle, and we could either have like a percentage value of how many stars the threshold is in there, or something like that.
On Hitbox, is there any way to post an image?
Yeah, I'll make you a moderator, and you'll be able to do that.
Perfect. I was thinking maybe just posting these guys some cool images that we have too. Just some stuff that we haven't shown everyone yet. And actually, I see what's showing them are. This is just under development. It's not done, but we just got this posted on our board this morning in our developer section. But just to give you an idea of what our cat species are going to look like, and I want to note this cat looks very funny because it has no fur, but it will look much better when there's fur on the cat. But this is our Catraxi species that you're going to be seeing in our demo. Oh, and here's Ace as well.
Oh yeah, you need to direct link it.
Yeah, there it goes.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
So this is going to be one of our two species that you're going to be seeing. Imagine more fur though, but one of the two species that you're going to be seeing in our demo. And Adam Rohrbaugh here. This is Ace. This is our co-founder. If you're interested in knowing that, this is one of the other brains behind the operation.
Oh, I need to open up a window. We're back.
Yep. If you guys have any more questions, go ahead and post. You kind of have the Adam and myself are kind of the two game designers behind the project. So if you guys have any questions, we're definitely the guys to ask. So feel free to post a bunch of questions while Tyson is working on something.
Yep. I'll make them public, so you can change them in the inspector.
Okay, cool. Yeah, in terms of gameplay, you're gonna look at something like Master of Orion, and I'd love to get a link. In fact, I'm gonna go get a link here for people to look at, and you can get it on GOG too. It's I think it's only like see right now it's $5.99 on GOG for the first 2 of the series, but it's a 4X game, so it's gonna be something akin to, imagine if Civilization were on the galactic level. So, instead of thinking of just having individual cities like you do in Civ, you're going to have planets and star systems that you're going to be in control of and moving out from. But very much the same thing. And I'm going to go ahead and post a link on GOG for... but it's going to have just a link for Master of Orion 1 and 2 to purchase. It's like $5.99, and definitely give it a go. It's an old game, but I would, definitely say buy it, support it. You'll love it. When you read a lot of reviews of 4X strategy games, you'll still hear people kind of refer to Master of Orion 2 and try to compare those two, or try to compare whatever the new game is to Master of Orion 2. So everything's going to be turn-based. There is no real-time combat. A lot of games nowadays are kind of going for like Star Drive 2, kind of has more of a real-time combat element. Our game won't be that way. So when you're in tactical, you'll kind of have your fleet, their fleet, and you'll click on your ship. You'll click to move it, do whatever you want to do. If you want to move it forward, cloak your ship, etc., make your move. It'll have a real-time, or not real-time, but an animated effect for what you're trying to do, whether it's movement or shooting an enemy ship. And then you roll through your ships, and then you hit the end of your turn, and then the AI will go through its turn as well, and you'll go back and forth in that fashion.
And I see that Ace has joined the stream. That's cool.
Yes.
Just don't hope this will be like one of these small changes that'll make me hunt bugs for centuries.
Hopefully not. But that is part of the process, and we've actually, just to give you guys a little bit of information, we've been working on. So when Tuxnet was going through and loading up star systems, and you could see like the individual planets. What you don't see yet is we've been working on a system view that gives you information for that. And we've had, I think we started working on it last Saturday, if I'm correct. And we worked on it Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and I believe Tuesday, until we finally had a good iteration of it working, where it was robust enough to really be robust enough to work in all of our scenarios. It looked great in mock-ups. Adam here, or Ace, is superb at doing just good mock-up work. And it looked great in a 2D scene when we could like control where everything was with the planets. But as planets were rotating and orbiting, it just got very complex looking. And probably for a lot of other games it would have worked, but we're trying to keep our interface simple. So this has been quite the process as we go from our design doc and trying to make it work in the 3D environment. There are kind of some changes, but yeah, this has been quite the process. But I think at this point, hopefully, next couple of days we'll have System View working, and I think Tuxinet's been working on our Galaxy generator since about July, I want to say.
Yeah, it's taken up the better part of my time.
Yeah,
I've managed to set up some basic stuff for the tactical demo, but yeah, it's out of my hands now, I guess.
yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, and as Ace points out, we're looking at keeping it single player. We really thought about having a multiplayer, and so many games nowadays are multiplayer. But one of our philosophies kind of is, I'd rather have a player, come to us and say, "I bought your game. It's a great game. Everything's done perfectly, but I wish you would have also added this." Than us having a feature like something like multiplayer, and the player comes and says, "Well, you have this feature, but it's kind of only half done. It doesn't play right." And if any of you have ever played turn-based strategy games, especially when they're big in scale, like Master of Orion is, they can get very boring. It can get boring when you play a hot seat game when you're playing two players at one computer. It can be boring. It can be even more boring when you're playing online and you don't have the other person there. And Civilization runs into the same issue. I love Civ 5, play Civ 5 a lot. But even playing multiplayer in my own home with friends can get very boring. And I'm not quite sure that we have a way to fix the inherent drawbacks that there are to a turn-based game, especially when it comes to the combat part. So we're really going to focus on just trying to provide you with the best single-player experience that we can provide you with. If somewhere along the way we figure out this way to make turn-based multiplayer more exciting or more fun or something that can draw you in, we will absolutely add it as some sort of an expansion pack, or maybe Lord of Rigel 2 or something like that. But for the time being, we're really just focusing on getting back to the basics on game mechanics and user interface, and just providing you with the best experience that we can provide you with. And by the way, Ace, your nebulas, which I've finally gotten to see in game for the first time, look really good. Look really nice.
Yeah, they're awesome. I like them.
Yeah, I think at this point, if I had a qualm to make, it's the fact that it's a little better looking than even the stars of the black hole look. It looks really good. It's nice having that gaseous volumetric object, especially some of them, because as you're moving around, actually they're actually high. They're actually coming. They're closer to the camera than what the stars are. So it kind of gives it this volumetric 3D look. But it just depends. Especially the green nebulas. That definitely seems to be the ones that have the height to them versus the purple and the red ones.
I think these new rules are going to work. They should.
Perfect. Yeah, there could, and that could, we were just talking about this with VU Legends. Maybe it was last Saturday when we started working on System View, because he's worked on prior projects that have had multiplayer, and he has the technical expertise to do multiplayer code and to make that work. And as we started talking, I was like, "Oh yeah, we can make it work. We can do this and that and the other." But I started talking about more, and I explained to him more about what the 4X is. Like, it's not as easy as just here's netcode. Here's the game. Now it's turn based, and and it's multiplayer and it works. One of the ideas potentially, and I don't even know how the heck we would try to do it, is try to have something where the game is somewhat real time, but it's a very slow real time.
Mm-hmm.
But the issue that you would run into is when you have 1,024 star galaxy and you get big enough and powerful enough, it would be very hard to control. And if we did multiplayer, one of my kind of benchmarks is that I don't have to take the single player game and dissect it and slaughter it and put it into certain conditions to make multiplayer to work. So I think multiplayer could work in a smaller galaxy, maybe 32 to 64 stars would be great. Even trying to do some sort of a real-time element to it. But I think when you get into 256, 512, or 1,024 star galaxies, it's just going to be crazy because by the jumping around between your stars, and you're ultimately going to end up just fixating on a couple key worlds that you've built up for production or research or whatever you've chosen to do. And ultimately that changes the fundamental gameplay dynamic. So it's a different game, which it's like, then why do we have Lord of Rigel as a 4X turn-based strategy game? It's just very difficult. But if someone on here has an amazing idea, we'd love to hear it, because it's something that we've thought about extensively. But someone else out there may have a great idea on how to make it work, and we'd love to hear it.
I think it worked. It's stuck in an infinite loop, so at least it can find new location for stars. Because I chose the percentage too low, so that's good, I guess.
Oh, good. Yeah, and that's kind of, and that's what I was just talking about, and I thought Morland that might be a way to go with it, but I think the problem is even if you had real time, you're still going to kind of draw things out. So what's a good time frame and good pacing for, let's say, a 64 star galaxy, I think would be different for like 1,024 star galaxy, because you'd want to allow the player more time to jump around to the different worlds when in a bigger galaxy versus a smaller galaxy. But I think you're right, and I've had a similar idea that may be an avenue down the road to really look at and to try once this game is released and it's and we're not worrying about, can we just even like make a game, trying to just experiment with that within the framework of Lord of Rigel and saying, okay, let's take out the turn-based elements, now let's try incorporating some of these real-time elements and then trying to play with that. Yeah, and I don't think, in terms of scale, it's going to be bigger than something like StarCraft. I don't want players to worry about individual miners on a world or individual farmers or researchers. What I want players to think about and to think about for a 4X game is something like, I need to take this whole star system because it has 4 or 5 worlds that are mineral rich that I need to feed my industrial, this war machine that I'm building to invade this other species, right? This is a key star system that I need. So I want to provide the player with a sense of scale that most typical RTSs don't have. Where I think it would be good to take that RTS element is if we pull out the turn-based element and we just said, okay, let's assign a value. If the player chooses to build a ship, we're going to make that ship, rather than take 20 turns, it's going to take 2 minutes. And so the game's still going. Both players are still actively playing, and they can play at the same time because the galaxy's real time. But I think it would take a lot of time and a lot of play testing to figure out what those times would look like, especially in terms of scaling, because that's the biggest issue. Because in a turn-based game, it's up to the player how long they want to take, right? You can make a 1 second turn and just hit the turn button from one turn to the next and you're fine. Or you can choose to take an hour for a turn and click on every single little planet and be like, okay, I want to make sure that I have exactly this much research or whatever. So that's kind of the difficulty, and it's a great thing about turn-based game, but it's also a difficult thing because the turn kind of kills it for multiplayer. It just makes it a lot more difficult. But I think trying to incorporate some sort of a real-time element will be the only way that we can make multiplayer work. I just think it's an inherent flaw in any sort of turn-based game to have multiplayer, because you're going to have that weight. It's just going to exist. And you can see here too in this new game menu, just to give you an idea. Oh, TuxNet pulled it away.
Yeah, I can go back there if you want to talk about this.
No, it's fine. Go ahead, work. No, I just saw it for a second because the stream's behind, in real time. Well, thank you very much, Cube. I appreciate your comment. So yeah, in the new game menu here, just to kind of give you guys a basic kind of idea, and there's 2 icon sets here that are missing. They are done. They're just not in yet. Our GUI guy, VU Legends.
You haven't pushed it, basically.
Hasn't pushed it yet, so our lead programmer doesn't have it to show you guys here. But the easy will have, you'll have like easy, medium, hard, and we're pushing as like a part of our Kickstarter, like a little stretch goal, be to add like a 1996 mode, which is like an insane mode where you can't save. You just have to play it from start to finish.
Imagine that in the
you have opponent control. Yeah, and you'll have size control, galaxy size control, and that's going to control. For instance, if you choose like a spiral arm galaxy, you'll have more arms in a larger galaxy versus a smaller one. And then you'll have control over like how mineral rich your galaxy is. And then as well, try to remember all the different options. I'll have to look on my system here because I already forgot all the different options that we have for this. Hang on here. I forgot I can't get back to the main menu because it's system view doesn't play nice right now.
If you just go out of system view though, you can do it there.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, but yeah, it's just, I know it has to do with the Nebula integration because it wasn't doing this before.
Yeah, it is.
This is my first time with this.
Yeah.
It's okay. We'll get to work. It's why the game's in alpha.
Something in alpha.
Yeah, these things are bound to happen. I'm quite okay with that. I'm gonna have to actually completely get out of this in Unity.
Yeah, I'm gonna close the window again. Be right back.
Okay. Oh yes, so we have richness. Then you can choose like galaxy age, and then so kind of you'll have richness, age, and anomalies, and those are just variables in your galaxy. So richness will determine what kind of how many planets have poor resources but are highly habitable worlds, or if you want a world that has rich planets but they're very hostile planets. So you can adjust that, and then galaxy age, older galaxies being more organic. You can have more star systems or a younger galaxy or an average-based galaxy. Just more variables for you to control. And then you also have an anomalies button. So that'll place more nebulas, more black holes, more pulsars in your galaxy if you want to make things interesting. So that's kind of the different controls that you have. Oh, and you also have your tech level, which will determine where you start in the game. So there'll be a mode called Dawn, which is essentially, as we get further in, we've started to develop some backstory and lore to this world, but we're trying to keep it very open because we don't want you, the player, to feel confined to our story. So essentially, Dawn is your species has just discovered FTL technology, faster than light technology, and you can move out to the stars, and you'll essentially start with one star system with your home world and like a scout or something like that, and you'll start to move out from there. There's let's see here, go back. There's developed, which will kind of give you like a few colonies and some basic tech, and then you'll have advanced, which is you control numerous colonies, and you've researched the first few tech items for a few parts of the tech research tree. So it just kind of depends where in the game you want to get started.
Yes, C joke, indeed.
Yeah, he's on the voice here.
Yeah, I'm just not saying very much. I don't know why it's just on wanting to do stuff. Need to fix this. Okay. Okay, there is something wrong with my code.
Did you figure it out?
It just doesn't want to. It hangs up basically. It crashes. I guess. Oh well.
Ace, you should check out the developer. The developer section. Raven just posted the kind of more fleshed out top for the Catraxi. It looks actually. I'll just post it here because I don't think it's a big deal. People can kind of see kind of what we're doing for concepts. Know that we are alive and well.
Oh, by the way, Accurus, I think we need to like announce streams in the future. We're rocking like 16, 17 views. Yeah.
Which for us is a record, which is great, and we're glad that you guys are here for it. So we'll definitely be doing this, and we're going to try to have more of a online presence. We've been working on this project, I want to say, since April. April 2014, but we've kind of been, it's tough starting up an indie game. It's kind of funny because Ace and Adam and I've had a few conversations about, why don't games do this? Why don't games do that? And as we've started to develop this game, it's like, that's why games haven't done this, because it's difficult to put these things together. So sometimes it can be things like, why don't more games have more unique artwork for each of their species? And so, we found that finding artists that can put out, really quality work is difficult, especially like in our case as an indie studio. We don't have a ton of money to pay people. In fact, right now, no money to pay people with. People with talent, they want money and they want it up front. So, the people that we found, they put out top-notch work, and you can kind of see even with some of the modeling here that I've posted here in the chat, put out great work for us. But we kind of had to limit what we initially wanted to put out there, because initially we thought it would be great if we had unique buildings for each species, unique ships for each era, unique, everything. Everyone essentially wanted it so when you got in the game, it was like you could play the Catraxi and you're just like, yep, this is built just for my species. It would feel, and if that's how you wanted to think in your mind, that you were a Catraxi and you were leading the species, you wanted so that it was as realistic for you as it could be, because you had unique buildings and ships and everything. And now it's like, no, we're gonna have to wait. That'll have to be downloadable content later. That is a pretty cool galaxy shape. So you have almost like the basis of the rebel symbol.
Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah, I found the error. I was just being stupid, basically.
Oh great.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I guess. Yeah, a upside facing Pac-Man, I guess.
And so, actually, Tuxton, I think this is a question for you from Larracoon about being large address aware, because that's beyond my understanding. I just design stuff. Tuxton is the technical guy.
Yeah, let me just read the questionnaire. Yes, the largest galaxy is 1024. And right now, it runs fairly smoothly, even on like low-end computers.
Yeah, that's been amazing.
Yeah.
Like, when you guys see this game, I think you're gonna be blown away because our one of our goals has been everyone can play it, right? Because more people can play it. That means a larger community. For us, that means more revenues, which means that we can make future games for you, which is our passion. And so, TuxNet's original Galaxy generator was pretty quick. I think it can generate Galaxy, and like it took like 3 or 4 seconds for like the biggest Galaxy.
Yeah, for legendary, it clocks in about 3 seconds. Yeah.
But TuxNet and VU Legends have gone through and they've optimized more stuff. I mean, everything so far is 60 frames, no problem. Whether you're running it on a laptop or a desktop, and by laptop I don't mean like some Alienware $4,000 laptop, but you know, something more reasonable. And you know, something with reasonable hardware specs. We're even looking at trying to get things to work really well, and I think they should work really well on like Intel integrated graphics, which is a huge market now since all Intel CPUs have the integrated video card on board. But everything so far runs at 60 frames a second. On my system, I run things at 1920 by 1080 for my monitor. Zero issues. Everything's just like a snap. It just instantly responds to you. So we're looking to do that. Like also with our ships, they are not high poly ships. Oh, hey, Tuxinet, that is really close.
Yep, I'm getting there.
You're getting really there, yeah, like very close. Just a little more distribution towards the outer part.
That's what I'm trying to tweak.
Yeah, you got that core spot on, man.
Cool.
Yes, they do look pretty. I think we need to look at potentially finding a prettier way to do our black holes, because they just when you have the nebula and the black hole together, they don't quite look, you know, at the same quality level.
I'd love to say we could have. So yeah, go on. I can wait.
Oh, but yeah, and then the other thing too, we're talking about just performance is looking at like our ships. So one of the things that's our basic thing is we don't like in combat. All of our ships are very low poly. So for instance, and I'm going to link them up here for you guys in case you didn't see them on our Facebook page that I linked earlier this week. But you'll see when you look at some of our P3D links here, and it'll show you like the poly count and stuff like that. They're not high poly ships. They're very low poly, but they look fantastic because we focused on textures. Because lots of video cards, even Intel integrated graphics, you can dedicate tons of video memory to them. So they're low poly, and these are just the 3 Catraxi ships. And actually, I even linked this will be hopefully released next week, but this is just the model for our new battleship Catraxi, which is still only, I think, 2 sizes down from the biggest Catraxi ship we'll have. There'll be a Titan class and then a Doomstar class. But you know, you can see they look fantastic, and so they shouldn't bog a system down. Another feature that we've added too for gameplay, but it'll work out for performance as well as you cannot have an infinite number of ships on the battlefield at the same time. So what'll happen is you'll spawn, I want to say something like 36 ships at a time for each side, and then you'll have like a planet. Potentially, if you're fighting in a star system, you'll have like a planet and like an orbiting space station. So there's not a ton of objects on the screen at a time, but as you lose ships in your fleet, let's say if you have a 100-ship fleet, you can send in reinforcements as you lose ships. So it's going to keep performance up, but gameplay-wise, it's better too because one of my complaints when I play Master of Orion, and I still play Master of Orion even today, um, is that when you have a huge number of ships, when you have like 50, 60 ships, and the AI has 50, 60 ships, imagine an old colonial firing line. Everyone, you kind of run down your list of ships and shoot. Then you have to wait for the AI to do the same thing, and so turns can get very long, very drawn out, and very slow. So we've chosen to kind of lower that number, so that turns go a little quicker. You'll still have that big fleet feel, like you can send things in waves, but the game will pace itself better because the turns are going to be quicker. Instead of trying to run through a million ships, you'll just have at maximum 36. And so it'll make things a little better for the player, we think. But also performance will be greatly improved because you're not rendering as many objects at one time. And actually, too, I think I'm also... I'll do a little sneak peek here because you guys have been great and you've joined us today. I'd like to show you just a little sneak peek of a couple links for our human ships.
Ooh.
Just because I was going to post this next week for everyone, but you guys are here today and it's great, and you guys have been had lots of great questions and comments for us. So I'd like to show you a human. This will be a human cruiser. So this is one of the smaller human ships, but you're going to see. I was talking earlier about just the complete design difference in terms of the look. You'll see the Catraxi have lots of points to them, and they're completely asymmetrical in their design. Human ships, you'll see, they will be very symmetrical, very smooth looking, and so. The reason we chose these two species is that you can kind of see the design range that we're going for in this game. And I still think as we're developing it and we're getting more honed in on our concept artwork, I think you'll see that there may even be more variety with our other alien species. Our concept artist has done some great work fleshing out some really unique species. So I think as we kind of get a better picture on our species, we can take more of their personalities and integrate them into the design of their ships. And actually, too, I think I'll post the human starbase as well. But I'll post more of these next week. There are some more human ships that we have done as well.
Oh, I found the source of the rebel bug, I guess.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I think we need to have the core size equals to the random threshold size.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, something along those lines.
So now we just need to get these arms to extend out more, or more filled up. But yeah, we're getting close. So this is all being adjusted within a JSON file, correct?
It's not now, but it shouldn't be a problem.
It's not now, but we will be doing that. Okay. Yeah. So once we get some numbers locked down here, yeah, Ace, definitely. More nebulas, more color would be good. Yeah, because the nebulas look fantastic.
They really do. Oh yeah, I'm checking the stats on the side, and we're way into the constraints of like Intel graphics cards when it comes to VRAM usage.
So perfect, yeah. So this should pretty much run on everything, and it's gonna look just beautiful. Honestly, as we get further into this, we had this huge idea. The Cisco, yes, the Cisco is pleased, but actually, I don't even think that was even a reference that we used. I think it just ended up just being that way. Human ships, you'll find thus far. Like, I'll post the cruiser later this week on our Facebook page. It has similar winging to it. That's just going to be kind of one of the unique features to the ship. But actually, I still think thus far the human frigate is one of my favorite designs. And actually, kind of the frigates for both the Catraxi and the humans, because the Catraxi frigate is just very stealthy but aggressive looking. We are thinking about doing Steam Early Access, but I've been hesitant to do it thus far because I wanted to get on Steam Greenlight and start our media campaign on there as well. But after the latest, I forget what Steam's big, like, once a year convention is in Seattle, but one of their big announcements was that they're going to ditch Steam Greenlight, and because they are seeing that a lot of good games are getting stifled out, simply because of the way their system works, and because you have to pay for Steam Line, and I don't mind paying out of my pocket to do that, but I don't want to pay for Steam Greenlight, knowing that something different is around the corner. I'd rather wait a little bit, see what Valve chooses to do, and then we'll go ahead and go that route. But we do plan on having early access to the game. We do plan on using Steam as one of our retail platforms. GOG will probably be another one that we'll be looking at, as well as Humble Bundle through their retail store, as well as having our site be a retail store, which, by the way, if you do buy the game, please buy it from us directly, because that way we get more of the profit, because Steam and GOG, to a lesser extent, they take out their cut of the money. If you buy it from us direct, it's more for us, and more for us means better artwork, or another project that we can fund and get through quicker because we'll have money to pay people. Yeah, definitely. And Greenlight did have a huge problem recently. And the sad part is you see a lot of indie developers that have these amazing games, and they'll post things and say, well, I tried to get Greenlight on Steam, but I couldn't get the hits or whatever. And they'll show the game off as part of their blog post about the problem that they have with Steam Greenlight, and people are responding and saying, well, this was an awesome game, but I never saw it, and I would have funded that game had I saw it. So I think Steam is seeing, or not Steam, but Valve is seeing that there are some problems, and they've admitted for years that there are problems. It was that Greenlight was never a perfect system, but I think they're seeing that the sheer volume of good games that they're losing out on is more than they thought. Okay, so now you're getting the arms really close.
Yeah, I just need to remove the Rebel stuff.
Yeah, you're getting the arms really close. But yeah, so that's kind of, it's definitely, it's been a learning experience for us. This is our first game, my first game to release for profit. Many of our team members, so Adam here, who's his call is Ace, Newman, and Oddgrim's just from the Half-Life community, I want to say, but I'm trying to think if there's anyone else. We have Flipside as well, who's our music guy. I think that's it. But all these guys were part of the Diaspora project. So they've released a polished game, but it was freeware based on the Descent Free Space engine. So for Ace and I, this is our first kind of push into a for-profit game, and hopefully this will allow us to create a game studio to make more games like this.
think I know of another way actually. You know the minimum distance between stars stuff, yeah?
The manual, the distance.
Yeah. We have like in the generator, like you can.
Yes. Oh, you just want to increase it?
Yeah, I like. We could have two distance variables.